It's not like blue jays are the only North American birds that like unshelled peanuts, but they do go for it probably 10 times as much as all the other species put together. Well, that's partly because these big birds like big treats. A titmouse carrying one away looks as odd as someone holding in his mouth an entire hot dog, bun and all. But an unshelled peanut's no challenge for a jay to carry off. In fact, the jay can handle one and a half. What I mean is that he's likely to pound open a shell, eat only one nut, and tuck the other in the back of his beak, then come back to the tray for another whole peanut. Picking up an unshelled nut without dropping the one the bird's about to gargle with can be a little bit tricky. So what I'd like to know is why the jays don't just eat both of them before they come back for more. It's one of nature's minor mysteries. There's no mystery about their love of peanuts, though. And if you'd like good looks at that mohawk head with its face outlined in black like stained glass, if you want to see its brilliant blue wings and tail close enough to pick out the checkered, striped, and zigzagged black and white patterns on them, if you get a kick out of seeing one do its reverse hop on the edge of the tray, or if you just like their rude and raucous calls, then put a feeding tray full of unshelled peanuts a few feet from a window. If you do, you're bound to notice that jays are picky shoppers, often rejecting the first nut they pick up. But it's a purposeful picky. They're not dithering around for no reason. They can actually tell if the contents of the shell have started to wither just by hefting it, because the nuts that are past their prime weigh less, and maybe even rattle a bit. Okay, some of the time the jays grab and go so fast that they couldn't possibly have weighed what they took. But they do store a lot of the nuts for later in the winter, and when they're planning to store their booty, they're particular, because any jay that caches peanuts which rot before it's time to eat them might find himself starving by late January. Now, I can confidently say that jays are able to weigh unshelled peanuts because a trio of scientists demonstrated that they can. The experimenters pried open peanut shells, removed one of the peanuts, and closed them back again. Then they mixed those lightweight peanuts in with peanuts they hadn't fiddled around with, and recorded Mexican jays choosing which peanuts to take. The birds consistently chose the heavier shells, and all they had to do to know the difference was pick it up. The scientists even took small shells with only one nut inside, pried them open, and added clay to make them heavy. Then they mixed the small, heavy shells with larger, half-empty ones. As expected, the jays chose the smaller, heavier peanuts. So, one mystery solved. Now, would somebody please explain why the jays often carry a nut in their beaks back to the feeder?